so that when Israelites come to me, I can be like, yo, brother such and such has this gift, or sister such and such has this gift, or elder such and such is the master at such and such and such. As we continue to build community, because right now it seems like the Hebrew identity, it's just arbitrary, it's just floating, it's made up by whoever decides to get online and start talking, you know, they're the leader. But we need to start holding one another accountable and we'll be able to lift up the standard. So I'm beyond the time, and just a servant of the people of our nation. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
My name is Brother Mikael. I'm here at the Soul Vegetarian Complex, the Afro-Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. I've been here since the very beginning of this jurisdiction in Atlanta. 78, when I first began to study, 78 of December, when the Israelites came from Israel and I heard the truth. Whoa, people left America didn't tell me, so I got to get up and get it. So in that light, I've been to Israel 1980, first time out of America. Been to Israel about 6 different times. Lived in West Africa, Liberia, also in Ghana for some years, a few years. Been to Benin, been to South Africa, we're in our community there. I've been served in Chicago, a Soul Vegetarian restaurant. Soul Veg here in Atlanta, 2 restaurants. And teach history, teach the museum that you see, the African Indian Heritage Museum. And I was married for 7 years in the community. I've been divorced now 3 years. And I'm here to serve y'all's interests. That's why I exist. And that's my show, okay?
Hallelujah. Okay. Shalom, shalom, everyone.
Shalom, shalom.
I am Code Ba'asia. I woke up to the truth about 20 years ago, to who I am. I was a part of the Hebrew Israelite community from Dimona for about 17 years. I was married 10 years to Brother Dr. Avi Melech, married 10 years. He's no longer with us in transition. And so what's important about today is I created the single Hebrew Israelite dating/courting group. And I thought that this was a great idea for us to have this conversation in this particular group, because a lot of people are dating, a lot of people are courting, they're new to truth, and they really don't know the aspects of Hebraic culture when it comes to courting and dating. It's so totally different. Everything is not set on the physical, like how in the world everything is physical, everybody's working, everybody trying to have nice cars and look a certain kind of way. And everything is, when it's come to us, everything's about spirit, everything's about taking your time. And we understand in depth the deep, and we have a better expansive understanding of relationships, marriage, and how to find a Yahweh, okay? Is much deeper than just the outside, you know what I'm saying? Also, so I think this is an excellent forum. I'm really like looking forward to this because I know we got so much wisdom in this room. We got people who understand things, and it's just awesome. I was married for 10 years. I was very, very happy to. And I was very proud to be married to Dr. Avi Melech. I owe a debt of gratitude to the Jerusalem Sisterhood, because the Jerusalem Sisterhood took me in. They taught me how to cook. They taught me how to clean. They taught me how to be a nurturer. I didn't know how to do that. They taught me how to talk to my man and when to speak, when not to speak, using your words wisely. You know what I'm saying? They taught me how to about child rearing, what to do, what not to do, what's the best way to raise a child. And so there is no amount of money I can repay these sisters. My children are grown now. They're doing great. They're wonderful, beautiful children. They had a beautiful life. They're growing up as Hebrew Israelite children. And so I want to be able, what was given to me, I want to give that back. You know what I'm saying? And so, enough of talking. Anyway.
How y'all doing? Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm Shema, Ben Israel, a part of Atlanta jurisdiction, African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. Now I'm one of the brothers know, doing my thing, pitching in, whatnot, and also have 2 businesses that I run. I have a transportation company, also I'm a tax preparer. So anybody looking to go home, if y'all want to have some funds ready to go home this up high, give me a call. I got some cards on me. But I'm glad to come into this forum right here to speak up on relationships, because that's what we need in this point in time, building, especially with our brothers and sisters in the state that we're in, because we're still fighting this post-traumatic stress dealing with slavery and how to deal with our women. You know, I just seen something online dealing with a young sister. That's a tragedy.
Yes,
That's something should never go on dealing with our state of consciousness
yes.
as Hebrew Israelites. Even if you just in that conscious world, that's something that you just don't even think about doing. So I'm here to, you know, give some input, and also hear some input, you know, and grow wiser, you know. And I'm in Bangladesh, so this would be a great forum for me and a
What
great
is
platform.
Bangladesh, my brother?
This is a bit I'll set aside. Bangladesh is like being engaged, like being in the world.
Is that a Greek word?
Absolutely not. So it's like you're engaged. You know, it's like, you know, somebody proposed to, you know, you propose to, that means you set aside, that's your fiance. You know what I mean, for if you're in the world, but that's when you go dash it, like being set aside. That's just when you're actually really getting to know your partner, your mate, to spiritually, to let you know that, hey, this is what I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life. Because there is, in this season right here, there's no releases, and the plan is to be together forever, period. There is no whatever, but if this happened, that happened. We talk about being together forever, period. So this is a great platform that we're doing, and looks like we got over, what, 100,000 members in the room, you know, 10,000 was like keep it flat, so I just can't count one person one for again the Hebrew.
Still respect.
So how you?
We got
Don't be shy.
So,
Shut up.
Killia.
Close, you don't have to get close. Too close, okay? Too close.
That's kids.
No
Kill
problem.
ain't gonna.
Too close.
New, been in it for a year and a year and a half, been married to him. We own 3 businesses together. We working on doing what's it called? Go ahead.
Just say your part and then I'll say mine.
Yes,
So, say shalom, thank you. Close out.
thank you.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, okay.
People know me as Rabbi Binyah, but I'm Binyah. I'm just Binyah. You just call me Binyah. I've been in the walk since 2004 when I was in Iraq. Actually, an Army vet, combat vet. I'm just a servant. You know, my ministry is reconciliation and just helping just rebuild. Like she said, that we have 3 businesses. We own a boutique. Fragrance boutique. We also do hair. I own a business called B&Q Enterprises, which consists of multimedia and also installation services. So it's a twofold business, all multimedia, audio, video, graphic design. And then installation services consist of smart homes, camera installs, TV mounts, I mean all that stuff, home remodeling, a lot of things like that. Yeah. So I've just been all over the world, Africa, India, teaching. I'm an evangelist at heart. So that's what I'm about. Been married to, it's my first wife, it's my second wife, but I've been married since, we've been together since 1998. High school sweethearts, so over 20 years. We've been married together for 17. We've been together, we've been married for over a year and a half now. So in between us, we got 9 kids?
Awesome.
Yeah, between us, we got 9 children.
Hallelujah.
Another one coming March 13th. And I'm just here to learn, add input, value wherever I can. And I'm always ready to learn. Shalom.
Shalom.
Hi, I'm Kanya. I am a servant to him.
Help me, divine help me.
Yeah. businesses like you spoke of. I do the Puri Boutique. We also homeschool our children. We're all around just trying to better ourselves, you know, as well as, you know, become better within the Most High. Sure.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, I'm Darlene. I'm just here to learn, just here to listen and learn.
What do you do?
Got the background over there too, you trying to hide from that one.
Well, you can just push that one back a little.
So my name is King Kevin Dorrell, author, filmmaker, and all-around goal-getter, future multi-millionaire, a servant of my people. And from Fort Lauderdale, I've been here in Atlanta for about a year. Well, April will make it a year. And I've written 2 books.
Wonderful.
This is my first one, The Courage to Believe, inspirational autobiography, and about how God helped me overcome adversity in life. So whenever I'm speaking at a school or a church community center, they usually have me speak on this one. But sometimes this one as well, my second one, which is 7 Types of Queens King Desire. It's a compare and contrast of ancient queens with women of today.
Awesome.
Yes, it's that dope, for real.
You got my 2 ready for me.
Yes, sir. And the second book actually took me to London as well a couple of years ago, so that was something I was very happy about, that I was invited to go on the book tour in London. And I've spoken in Haiti. I'm Haitian, by the way, but I've spoken in Haiti. My boule. And we host the annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel. This year was our 5th one, but we changed the name this year, not because I don't think black on black crime happens, which we can debate that all day, all night. But I changed the name in hopes that we get more support if we change the name to the annual Community Crime Solutions panel. It's our first time hosting it here in Atlanta. The support was very minuscule, so I'm going to switch back to black on black crime. Well, so we host, also, I have a nonprofit, I didn't mention it. My first book, The Courage to Believe, we named our chess program after it, which is C2B, which is the acronym for Courage to Believe. Courage to Believe International, but the chess program is called C2B, Chess Club and Mentoring, and we teach the youth how to play chess, specifically black youth, you know, but it's really open to all youths, but mainly, you know, urban communities. And we don't just teach them how to play chess, we teach them how to play chess with life skills. So we give them different scenarios in the midst of playing chess. And we also make them do a real Black history book report. When I say real Black history, like, you know, take them back to like the homie, which is today Benin, Kemen and Kush. And so, so that's what I'm on that. I'm on that.
Appreciate that.
That's about it. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
My name is Sim Katia. I got my name from Nasi Gabriel in Israel when we traveled last year. I'm this lovely husband's wife. His vision is basically mine. He has a calling for unity, and before we even went before our family members for vows, so that they could be our witness, we went before Yah and we made certain promises, and so Yah has brought us through a lot, you know, to make sure that we are about what we say that we are. And when I say a lot, I'm not necessarily talking about personal things. I'm talking about just meeting so many wonderful people and trying to rebuild the relationship, because we know that it starts with the man and the woman. Well, it starts with Yah, but then the man and the woman, and so that's been both our mission. We've been doing this hand in hand the whole way. I'm for the sisters, he's for the brothers, and then together for the family. So that's pretty much our goal and our mission in life, to make sure that we are prime examples of what a divine relationship looks like, and then teaching or emulating, just shining the light, and people will want to know how do you guys have peace? How do you guys achieve certain things? And so that's what we are all about.
Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm Sharon Ray. I'm a part of the Shalom group. This is like my first time ever interacting in person with any Hebrews. Yes.
Major move, right?
I'm glad to be helping you make history today.
That's right.
So
Teamwork.
I used to just interact online and conference call with different Hebrews over the country. I recently moved in the area about 6 months ago from Americus, Georgia. I've been in the truth about 2 years, so I'm still learning. And just, I don't know, I kind of feel like an outcast, you know, like amongst, you know, my family and my friends. Because I really, seems if I don't really have anything, you know, in common with them, you know, my conversations that I have, you know, no one is like really interested in those types of conversations. So, yeah, so I'm just trying to, you know, interact with people that are like-minded, you know, like me, and go in the direction that I'm trying to take. Being a servant of y'all.
You live in Georgia?
Yes. I just moved here. Well, I live in McDonough. Got to move to McDonough.
Because McDonough's not really Georgia.
Don't do that, man.
I'm just joking. It's really far.
Yeah, you all the way out there.
Right.
Far down south.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think I was trying to stay closer to, because Americas is like deep south. So, and I'm not really, not too from another city like that. So, yeah.
Well, family, I'm thankful for each and everybody's introductions. I mean, it's beautiful, you know, and this part of our relationships that we're going into is intimate. It's also delicate. It's a vulnerable area, which is why I think it was very comely for us to give our introductions, you know, a little background, and kind of break the ice a little bit. You know, nobody wants to really go in depth, and as far as going in depth. There's definitely a lot of layers of this relationship thing that we could go into. And we may not be able to cover all of it today. But what I wanted today to be is just a feeler. You know what I mean? Like, where are we? What are our philosophies concerning love? What are our philosophies concerning marriage? Where are we advancing and doing well? Where are we excelling in? But where are we, where do we feel that we're lacking? Where do we feel that we could use work? And even starting my marriage, you know, I had to be real with myself. I mean, there's an idea I had about how capable I was until you started taking steps to move forward and you realize, hold on, the enemy's working here. You know, like, there's entities that will try to rip us apart. There's other forces that don't want to see this work. And I realized that it's not, don't come in here and think it's about to be smooth sailing. You know, you have to work and put your vision out, chase it, encourage your wife to follow and stick with the plan and help you through so that she can see that there's a benefit to being a part of your cooperation as a man. So speaking from a male's point of view, why should I choose you? And it's like, I'm going to show you why you go choose me. You know, and you put the work in, put that groundwork in to present that vision to her. But as a spiritual man, and from a divine sense, and these are just my personal philosophies, and I'm sure everyone can jump into that. From a divine sense, I'm channeling the power of Yah right before us. Channeling the power of Yah to go in and manifest His plans in the earth during my dispensation of time. Because in a little while, we out of here. You get your 70, a little more for strength, you know, and then that's it. So it's like, do I have a woman on my side that's going to help me enact this plan? Or do I have, in your case, 2 or more? Or do I have a counsel, you know, or that supporting body of feminine energy that's going to be my help as a male? And I might am I even worth that? Like how you have the dowry, are you financially able? Do you have the skills to cover her for real better than her father was doing? Equal to or better than what her father was doing? And I think all of those things are very important in moving. And then, like I said, there was one idea I had going into marriage, and then so much more revelation came to me while I was married that I learned, and I'm like, hold up, I need to humble myself down and start paying more attention and listen and discern what needs to be done so that I can be a suitable covering for these gifts that were given unto us called the woman, art and shots. So, Kevin, kind of want you to go first to go into your writing, your book, your philosophies, your insights on what you believe would make a successful marriage. And like I said, this is going to be the first of our meetings, and I want this to be our regular body, you know, because we'll have once a month. You know, probably the first Friday night, first Shabbat night, first Friday night of every month, we could have this and have this intimate setting and invite more people to come, knowing that we're putting out real solid knowledge. I haven't heard nobody talk to me in depth concerning relationships and marriage and things of that nature at all. It's always, you know, some worldly knowledge or some worldly saying where it's like, you know, happy wife, happy life. And it's like, that's it, that's all I get. You know, as a man that's supposed to be excited, some type of authority and vision and prophetic mindset, the most I get is happy wife, happy life. I need real insight. And I'm not going to say I'm an expert on it, which is why I invited and like the fact that other males came in, the feminine energy is in the house, and I'm able to get a more complete view than just my own view. Like the scriptures say, in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. And just in this room alone, I feel the safety, I feel the love, I feel that there's understanding here. And I'm glad you all came, and I hope we get to everyone in their philosophies and their understanding as to what makes a successful marriage. So Kevin, turn it over to you right now.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. This is actually my first time as well, like the Queen said earlier, that it's my first time in the midst of Hebrew Israelites. Well, as far as like a collective program, I have a couple of friends, close friends that are Hebrew Israelites. I just want to make sure I mention that. And also I'm here with my queen. We're not married as of yet. You know, God willing we will. But you know, my fault, I didn't introduce her earlier. You know, she was kind of sitting away from me, playing with the camera. So, but anyway, I just want to make sure I said that. And in my opinion or beliefs on marriage, it's hard for me to talk about that because I've never been married. But what I did do is, which is pretty cool, with my second book, 7 Types of Queens, I actually interviewed several happily married men, you know, keyword happily, you know, on what made them select this particular female, this queen, to be, you know, the one for him for a lifetime. And the reason why I did that is because, you know, my heart was broken. So that's really how I started writing this book. That's why the cover, you may not can see it, but the cover is actually several women creating a heart, you know, so. And so with them together, different characteristics, making a whole woman. So, I mean, there's more than 7 types of women, obviously. There's like millions of women around the world. But there were several characteristics that, you know, these men felt as if were the most important parts of her. You know, for instance, you know, it could have been a woman that was a spiritual type of woman, so I call her spiritual queen. One that was more on faith, you know, maybe one that was more on about cooking and putting her spiritual energy, her divine, sacred, feminine energy behind the food, because really food is like, you know, it's not just a way to a man's heart, but it's actually to save us. You know, you can feed a man a bunch of chitlins every day and see how long he's gonna live, you know, or, you know, eating, you know, healthy meals, and you see the life is prolonged, you know, as well as the love, because the longer you're alive, the longer you can make love, right? You can't do it dead. But also, yes, before I get to what I want to say, I want to make sure I mention, I cannot forget to mention, this is a book I mentioned on the show when we did the Facebook Live. This is Dr. Boyd Shangel's book, the African Woman, the Original Guardian Angel, Dr. Ashamuku Shango. Anybody ever heard of him?
I met him, he spoke here years ago.
Really? Oh man, I would love to have been there. He passed away some years ago. I could pass his book around. You guys can take a look
Temple of
at
the
it.
Black Messiah.
And
Awesome spirit.
yeah, he's very vibrant, very energetic type of speaker, and he's a Pan-African pastor. But that book is actually not just the book, but just his energy, his spirit is what really led me to the path that I went towards as far as writing my book. So I quoted his work very heavily in this, so I had to give him credit because he really opened my eyes to understand that in a relationship, it really does take the feminine and masculine energy working together. One of the biggest issues in our community, the black community, is that many of the homes are just overwhelmed with too much feminine energy. Not any fault of the women, it's just that the men not standing up. So, the woman that will have to, stand up and just take over everything. And that's what a lot of our children are seeing. They're watching the mother do everything. They're watching her pay the bills, defend the family, go on to work, but there's no loving man there. And if a man is there, he may not necessarily be the father, or it may not even be the type of man that's showing them love, you know what I'm saying, that children need. I was watching a video earlier today and last week, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, showed a book called The ISIS Papers. And she mentioned something regarding a little boy he didn't do his homework. He didn't want to do his homework. So he's sitting inside, and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, those who don't know, she's a psychologist. Yeah, black psychologist, pro-black psychologist, as a matter of fact. Rest in peace to the Queen. And she was talking about how this little boy, I think she said he was about 10 years old, he refused to do his homework. So she's trying to find out, why aren't you doing your homework? And he said, because I deserve, where's my real daddy? I want a real dad. If I don't get a real dad, I'm not doing my homework.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And if I had a real dad, I would do my homework because he'll be here to help me with my homework. And she said that made her cry, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because he's just being real, and,
That's right.
and so how often are young boys acting up because they don't have that balance in the home and they don't have that masculine energy to discipline them and show them love, But anyway, we obviously need both aspects, both principles in the home, because as brother mentioned earlier, him and his wife, you two, how long have you been married?
3 years coming May.
Oh, amen, we got to for that, right?
It is sacred.
The enemy doesn't appear until he sees union, because the devil doesn't like seeing union. Even in Genesis, the devil didn't appear until Adam and Eve came together. Now he want to cause division and separation. So the whole point of my book was really, even though it started off from a heartbreak, it really transitioned to something different, to really understanding, as I'm doing my research, how important it is that we get more successful marriages in the communities. We badly need that. I know there's tons of issues, going on, whether it's economic, the political, social, economic situations for our community, but mainly the lack of unity in our communities. Our children don't see that. They need to see that example. And our ancestors, dating back to the days of Kemet, there's statues of the man and wife, the king and queen standing together, sitting together, and that gave us that visual image of unity. And so we need to do the same thing here today, and instead of our kids seeing, they've seen their mom and their dad jumping around, sleeping around, different women here, different men there, they need to see that consistency. And so until we actually get that going, it's going to be very hard for us to turn things around, because it's really the white supremacy, they've really taken away our power. Let me say that, because I believe power words. They're trying to take away our power. Well, they've been successful taking the power of us loving one another, and loving ourselves. So we just need to get back to the foundational things of getting our pillars back up, as far as a man and woman getting together, and not just looking at you or you as a person, but seeing the spirit, the good spiritual things about yourself, the good spiritual components about yourself, and how we can actually edify one another instead of tearing each other down. So that's what I'm about, and that's what all my writing's about, really. I'm working on my third book now, which is called The Winner in the Mirror. It'll be released sometime in April, God willing. The whole point of that book is just to build people's confidence up, because if you don't love yourself, it also impacts your confidence. You know, I haven't always been confident. I know I look tall, dark, and handsome. You know what I'm saying? I didn't always see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, didn't always see that. And that impacts your confidence. It also impacts your faith, you know, and your faith in God and your ability to do things. But now I have this great confidence because I love myself. And me loving myself in a healthy way, I also love my brothers and sisters in a healthy way. You know, so hope I said enough. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Well done.
I guess this would be a good time to enter some commentary on what I heard you say about that, even that last part about, you know, you're not seeing your worth or your beauty at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think male insecurity is something that fatherhood helps to dispel. Because I remember when I had my dad around, I felt invincible because he was such a powerful force in my life. So I remember one time, I'm originally from the Bronx, and one day we were crossing a really busy street by my grandmother's house. And I remember we were crossing the street, and I said to my dad, I said, "Daddy, I feel like even if a car hit us, I wouldn't be hurt because I'm holding your hand."
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
How old are you?
how old was I? I was probably like 11 or 12.
Wow.
Like, to this day, and I've said this before, to this day, I still have that youthful love for my father, to where if he's in the house and he's talking, I remember just probably 3 years ago, he was at my grandmother's house. He was talking, and as he was talking, I was about to sit in his lap. And I was like, hold up, I'm grown. I can't be sitting in my dad's lap still. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember how powerful my dad made me feel. You know, he gave me an example. He gave me somebody I wanted to be like. He represented so much to me. He gave me a vision so that all the things that would usually make young men insecure, it didn't matter, because I'm looking like, what does my dad need me to do? What's next? Like, he gave me a focus. Now when my parents divorced, I moved to Georgia with my mom. And I knew that I felt the difference. I felt the difference in that atmosphere. I felt the difference, how confident I was, and then how the insecurities began to affect me. Am I good enough for? Am I able to? Do I have the ability? Like, I remember that not being able to see my worth, or, you know, like, how effective can I really be in something? Mm-hmm. So as I grew up, it was my interaction with women that was beginning I was allowing it to dictate how great I can be. And is that a sure foundation for a man to grow in? No. Because these women's trying to figure themselves out as well. Mm-hmm. So then you end up being the tail. Because now you're letting